Hello everyone, I am Monica, as you know, from IELTS 9. So here in this video I am going to do this reading passage that name is Child's Play in Medieval England. Okay, so it was part of 15th July 2023. Let's do this IELTS reading, and you can see this reading has been divided into small paragraphs with with alphabets over there. Now after that we will look at the questions. First, I have true, false, not given, and second type of the question here is answer the questions below no more than 3 words. It means short answer type questions are there. Of course, I will start it from my first type of question, that is true, false, not given. So, how to do true, false, not given? If the statement is saying the same information, like this information, we have to find this question in the paragraph first with the help of some keywords. We will just go to the location, then we will analyze the meaning. We will just try to match the meaning. If meaning is matching with this statement, then true. If it is contradicting, then false. If nothing is given, so nothing means every full sentence will be there. Full sentence will not be there, but some percentage or some part of the question statement will be missing. Okay, so let's start with first. Aries pointed out that children did different types of work as adults during the Middle Age. So Aries, we will just with the help of this, and children did different type of, whether children were doing different types of work as adults during the Middle Age, then it will be true. If children were not doing any work, then false. If they are not talking whether children were doing any work or not, then not given will be there. Okay, so my keyword is Aries, Middle Age, and different types of work. Okay, first paragraph, definitely first question, first paragraph we will look. History. Okay, so I was looking for Aries is here. Interesting. Written by French. He argued that childhood is a concept created by modern society. Okay, one of the what we were looking at. Okay, type childhood is also there. Type of different work also I need to read it. So hotly debated issues. Okay, hotly debated issues in the history of modern childhood has been whether childhood itself a recent invention. The historian argues that in Western Europe during the Middle Ages, about up to end of 15th century, children were regarded as miniature adults with all the intellect and personality that this implies. Okay, as he scrutinized medieval pictures, diaries, and found no distinction between children and adults as they shared similar leisure activities and often the same type of work. Okay, so means children and adults, they were sharing same leisure activities and often the same type of work. Okay, let's read what the statement was saying. You can see this statement. Aries pointed out that children did different types of work as adults during the Middle Ages, but they were saying same type of work. It means it is false. Okay, let's move on to next question. During the Middle Ages, going to work necessarily means children were unloved, indicated by Aries. Okay, indicated by Aries. Middle Ages, going to work necessarily means children were, no, it is not unloved, it is involved. Okay, children were involved, indicated by Aries. Going to work, okay, necessarily means children were involved in work. So because sense was going according to the sentence, it means children were involved. Let's find it. The idea is not to be confused with the affection for children, that particular nature which distinguishes the child from adult, even the young adult. Okay, there is a long tradition of the children of the poor playing a financial role in contributing to the family income by working either or outside the home. In this sense, children are seen as useful. Back in the Middle Ages, children as young 5 or 6 did important chores for their parents, and from 16th century were often encouraged. Okay, so let's read the statement again, what they are saying. During Middle Ages, going to work necessarily means children were involved, indicated by Aries. Okay, yeah, during the Middle Ages, so what they are saying, did important chores for their parents, were often encouraged to leave the family by the age of 9, or servants. So many things they were doing it. It means answer will be, you tell yourself, I am showing everything, paragraph also, question also, you do it with me. So answer is true. Definitely they were doing it, every kind of work for the sake of family welfare. Okay, now coming to next question, that is third number. Scientist. So third number says, scientists think that overworked labor damages the health of young children. Overworked labor damages the health of young children. If the overworked by these children, the health of these young people damaged by this overworking, then true. If they are not discussing any health damage, then not given. And if they are saying that not health, in fact something other, they were just defecting, then false will be there. So we have to, scientists think that overworked labor. Okay, overworked, let's find overworked. Yeah, long hours is here. You can see this paragraph, you can see this. With the industrialization in the 18th and 19th century, industrialization, a new demand for child labor was created. Okay, and many children were forced to work for long hours, means overworked in mines, workshop, factories. Some reformers, means some it is not scientists, but they are talking about it. Yes, laboring long hours from an early age would harm children's growing body. So it means they will definitely destroy their health. So what we will put here, overworked labor damages the health of young children. So that is also true. Coming to fourth, the rise of trade. The rise of trade unions. Trade unions majorly contributed to the protection of children from exploitation in the 19th century. Okay. So if the rise of trade unions, and they contributed maximum to protect the children from exploitation in the 19th century, then true. If they are not talking about any trade unions and all, then not given. And if they are saying something like, instead of trade unions, instead of any other union, any other activity will be there to save children from this, then false will be there. So we were looking for trade unions, because this paragraph we have done. Now coming to this fourth paragraph and looking trade union. This Factory Act is there, signified the beginning of exploitation is also there, linked to the rise of factory children. So same thing, it was in question, but let's read the other lines also. The worst forms of child exploitation were gradually eliminated, partly through factory reform, but also through the influence of trade unions. Economic changes. Okay, influence of trade unions is also given. Economic changes during 19th century, which made some forms of child labor redundant. Okay, so influence of trade union is there, but the rise of trade unions majorly contributed is not given, because here you can see in Britain the Factory Act, this signified the beginning of legal protection of children from exploitation. So but here exploitation were gradually okay, partly, not majority. So what is majorly, it is given by British Factory Act. Okay, but here with economic with trade unions, it is partly. So it means answer is okay. One more thing, yes, this is also not given like that. The rise of trade unions majorly contribute. So actually this portion is missing. So we will go with not given. So we got this also, but where they are not talking about any rise of trade unions, and majorly it is also wrong. So that's why not given is there. Fifth number, with the aid of half-time schools. Okay, half-time schools, most children went to school in mid of 19th century. Most children, it means maybe false. Okay, but we need to find it before that. Okay, which century? Half time schools, most children 19th century, half time schools. Okay, let's, this paragraph is left. Half time school, they are not talking here. Children was as a time education privilege, a form of play and education. Initiating children who into work as useful become as a priority, as the age for starting full time work was delayed. Okay, full time. Children was increasingly understood as a more extended phase of dependency, development and learning. Okay, next paragraph. Yeah, you can see this half time. I am looking for half time. Continue to play a significant if central role in, okay, child lived throughout the 19th century and 20th century, and the useful child has become a controversial image during the first decade of the 20th century. Okay, the Factory Act of schools, half time schools. Now this is the location, so it takes time to get the location. The Factory Act of established half-time schools which allowed children to work and attend school, but in 1840s a large proportion of children never went to school. It means opposite situation is there. You can see the question statement. In the 20th century, almost all children need to go to school on full, we were doing fifth. Most children went to school, so here it is missing, so false is there. You can see this. Half-time schools which allowed children to work and attend schools, but in 1840s a large proportion of children never went to school. So you will be asking me, where is mid-century? So mid-century, this is 1833, 1840, this is near mid-century, 19th. Okay, so in English, if 18th century is there, it means 19th century, one century advance we need to just call it. Okay, so it is false. Now coming to 20th, in 20th century almost all children need to go to school on a full-time school. Okay, all children means maybe need to go to school on a full-time school, full-time schedule. Okay, 20th century all children need to go to school. During 20th century they are also talking about, okay, let's read it here. Attending school was no longer a privilege and all children is here, were expected to spend a significant part of their day in a classroom. Okay, by going school, children lives were now separated from this and this. Okay, what we are looking in 20th century. So after this 20th century, where they are talking 20th century, education, industrialization, that's why 20th century is here actually. 20th century, later 19th and 20th century, children's life and useful child has become a controversial first decade of 20th century. You can just, okay, so this is something in almost full-time schedule, full-time. But all children, okay, to spend a significant part of their day in a classroom by going to school, children's lives were now separated from domestic. I don't think so, because nothing, I am not getting it, I am confused. So it may be not given, so I will just put it not given. Okay, 7th number. Nowadays children's needs were much differentiated and categorized based on how old they were. Children's needs were much differentiated. Okay, nowadays he is talking about. So we have just gone from this paragraph, this also we couldn't find 20th also. Okay, by going to school, children's lives were now separated from domestic life at home and from adult world of work. The school became an institution dedicated to shaping the minds, behavior, morals of young life. Education dominated the management of child's waking hours, not just through the hours spent in class but through homework, the growth of after school activities, importance attached to parental. Okay, what they are asking, nowadays children's needs were much differentiated, categories based. Okay, children's life were shaping mind. So actually these statements are saying everything is true. And here also we can read it. Industrialization, urbanization, mass schooling also set new challenges for those responsible for protecting their learning. Increasingly, children were being treated as a group with distinct need. This is the location, and they were organized into groups according to their age. So what the statement is saying, let's read it. Nowadays, children needs were much differentiated and categories based on how old they are. Yes, this is given. So only nowadays I couldn't find, but everything it is given. Urbanization, school set for challenges, welfare. Set also, okay. Set means now present tense. Also set, no, it is not so. It may be second. Now new challenges, new means nowadays you can know, but we can't get it. But everything I am getting it. Every location, everything we are getting the meaning of this. So I will go with that true. Okay. Only nowadays maybe I am in hurry. That's why I am not getting it. You can find it. These are the locations. You can read it, please. Now coming to next question. That is no more than 2 words. It means short answer type question is there. Let's read it. What is a controversial topic, controversial, hotly debated thing? It was given in first paragraph. That arises with a French historian concept. What is the controversial topic? Okay. So yeah, one of the most hotly debated issues in the history of child has been whether childhood is itself a recent invention. So history of childhood will come here. History of childhood, because there we can use 3 words also. Okay, history of childhood. I am writing it here. Now coming to second. What image for children did Aries believe to be like Western Europe during the Middle Ages? Western Europe during Middle Ages, these are the locations. What image? Okay, Western Europe is here. You can see this. Western Europe, middle. So this is the location. The historian Philip Aries argued that in Western Europe during the Middle Ages, children were regarded as a miniature adults with all intellect and personality that implies. So where is the image? You will find it, but indirectly he is talking about everything we have got. It means children were regarded as miniature adults with all the things. Image for children did believe to be like in Western Europe during the Middle Ages. So it is perfectly matching. You can just try to match it with me. You can see this. That argued. Oh, I have to show like that. No. You can read it. What image did Aries believe to be like in Western Europe during Middle Age? So historian argued that in Western Europe during Middle Ages, end of 15th, children were regarded as miniature adults. So I am going to write miniature adults. Same spelling, please copy it from the passage. 10th, what historical event generated with the need for a great amount of child labor to work for a long 18th and 19th century? So yes, I have underlined it. So 18th and 19th century is here. With industrialization in the 18th and 19th centuries, a new demand for child labor was created. So what they are asking, generated the need for great amount of child labor to work for long time. Okay, was created. Many children were forced to for long hours. So industrialization is the event. So everyone just do write every answer in capital letter. That's more important. Now coming to 11th, that is what legal format the protection legal format also protection of children from exploitation in the 19th century. So 19th century we have gone, so like sequence wise we are getting answers. 19th century is this. What legal format the protection of children from exploitation in the 19th century. So initial, though, yes, we have already read this. statement. In Britain, the Factory Act of 1833, that is 19, signified the beginning is also initial. Legal protection of children from exploitation. So what we are going to write? The Factory Act, not this. Okay, so we are going to write the Factory Act only. Okay, everything should be in capital in answer sheet. Okay, now coming to 12th and 13th. What activities were more and more regarded as being preferable for almost all children time in the 19th century? So what activities? First of all, activities were more and more regarded as being preferable for almost all children in the 19th century. So we were reading the 11th question, we have found it here. Okay, now let's read it for this question here. The worst forms of child were more and more regarded. No, we are not looking for worst. Okay, 19th century again is here. 19th century, which made some forms of child labor redundant. Childhood was increasingly seen as time for play and education for all children, not just for a for all children is also there. No, here as being for almost all children in the 19th century. So activities, so these are two activities, play and education. You can read it from here. Location starts. Childhood was increasingly seen as a time for play and education for all children, not just a privileged minority. Initiating children into work as useful children became less of priority as the age. So we can write here activities, play and education, both will come. Means 3 words we are going to write. Now coming to 13th number question. Where has been the central area for children to spend largely of their day as people expect in modern society? So modern society, again for same 7th question nowadays, what there? Modern society. Okay, let's, now we have finished almost this passage, this paragraph. Let's go to next one. Next one. If central role in children's life throughout the later 19th and 20th century and the useful child has become a controversial image during the first decade of this, my location. Where has been the central area for children to spend largely of their day? Largely, no, we can't. Largely, central role is their central area. No, I have to look for central area, not for this. Central word I have done. Part of their day in a classroom. Okay. All children were expected to spend a significant part of their day in a classroom. And central area, let's find it, because central area they can't change. Large proportion never went. If they went 19th century, central to images, normal childhood, attending school was no longer. But yes, statement is saying where has been the central area for children to spend largely of their day as people expect in modern society. People expect also, situation was very different. Okay, this is, they left by the age of 10 or 10. The situation was very different by the end of 19th century in Britain. The school becomes, the school becomes central to images of normal childhood. Attending school was no longer a privilege, means not for rich people. All children were expected to spend a significant part of their day in a classroom. So I will go with classroom, because largely children to spend largely of their day as people expect in modern. So classroom I will be writing. Okay, thank you so much.